Hi there and welcome to this video on installing PyXL. PyXL is an Excel add-on that integrates Python into Excel, and in this video I'll show you how to install the PyXL Excel add-on so that you can get started using it for yourself. You can find more information about PyXL on the website www.pyxl.com and learn how to use all of its features. For example, you can write Python functions and call them directly from Excel as Excel worksheet functions. You can write macros and menus. You can even customize the Excel ribbon, create your own toolbars entirely from Python. You can stream real-time data from Python to Excel. You can use Python's plotting libraries in Excel. You can create custom user interfaces. You can even run Jupyter notebooks directly in Excel using PyXL. For this video, I'll assume you already have Python installed. If you don't, you should install it now and then come back to this video. If you're new to Python, then we've got some resources that you can use. Take a look at pyxl.com/learn-python. Here you'll find there's an ebook you can download, there's a cheat sheet, and there's some other links to some other tutorials on the web which are great for getting started with. I'm going to show you the quickest and easiest way to install PyXL. There is another way to install the PyXL add-in manually, and you can find instructions for that in the PyXL user guide on pyxl.com. To begin with, we'll start a Python command prompt. If you're using Anaconda, you'll have the Anaconda prompt in your start menu. For some other distributions, you'll find it's called Python command prompt, or you may need to start a regular command prompt. If you're not sure how to start a command prompt with Python setup, then check the documentation for the Python distribution you've chosen. Here, I'm using Miniconda, and before I can use Python, I need to activate my Conda environment. If you don't know what that means, or if you're not using a Conda environment, don't worry, you can skip this step and use your base Python environment. Once you've got the Python command prompt ready, the next step is to install the PyXL Python package. To do that, we use the Python package installer pip by running pip install PyXL. That's installed the PyXL Python package into our Python environment, but we also need to install the PyXL XL add-in into Excel. That's done by running the PyXL install command. If at this stage you get an error saying that the PyXL command isn't found, an alternative way to run this is by running python-m PyXL install. You'll now be presented with a number of questions and we'll go through those together. If you've already downloaded the PyXL add-in from pyxl.com, you can answer yes here and it will give you an option to enter the path of the zip file that you've downloaded. But if you haven't, just press no, which is the default, and then enter. And this will take us through downloading the PyXL add-in from the PyXL website. So here I'll put my name in, and then my email address. It's asking you here if you want to sign up to the PyXL mailing list. We send out only a handful of emails a year, so if you're interested in following how PyXL's continuing to be developed, then I'd encourage you to sign up here. Just enter Y. And finally, we have to agree to the terms and conditions. So there's the URL here. Go to that URL and you'll see the terms and conditions and also the privacy policy, because by submitting this form, we will be submitting this information to the PyXL website. So check that you agree with all of those first, then enter Y and enter. It should now start downloading the PyXL add-in, and then it's going to ask where we want to install it to. So here it's showing us that the default path is in the user app data local programs PyXL, but if you wanted to install it somewhere else, you could just enter a different path here. I'm going to just press enter and that will choose this default path. Next, it's asking us if we've got a license key. So if you've already purchased a PyXL license online, you can enter your license key. But if you haven't, you just want to use the free 30-day trial, then just enter no here, and no's the default as well. And by saying no, we'll automatically start that free trial. And there we go, that's it. So now it's telling us that PyXL has been successfully installed, and it's reminding us of the folder that we installed it to. There's just one other thing to point out here, which is that if you got an error saying that Python was 32-bit and Excel is 64-bit, or Excel is 32-bit and Python's 64-bit, then it won't install Pixel because the bitness of Python and Excel both have to match. And that's because Pixel will actually run the Python interpreter inside the Excel process. So you do have to be using either both 32-bit Python and 32-bit Excel, or 64-bit Python and 64-bit Excel. So if you've got that error, you'll need to go back and reinstall Python, making sure that you use the right version for the version of Excel you're using, or you can reinstall Excel and again just select the version that you need there. Before we go into Excel, I just want to take a look at this folder that's just been created and see what's in there to show you what's been installed. So I'll just open Explorer window, navigate to this folder, and in here we can see a few different files. So here, this pixel.xll file, this is actually the Excel add-in that gets loaded by Excel. Here we've also got this pixel.cfg or pixel.config file, and this is the config file that the Pixel add-in uses to figure out what Python modules should be loaded and how the actual Pixel add-in should work. There's also an example workbook, so I'd recommend having a look through this. This uses some Python code as well, and all the Python code for this example workbook is in this examples folder here. So do have a look through the examples. There's a lot of useful stuff in there. Okay, so now we'll launch Excel and have a look and see what the Pixel add-in is doing. When it first starts, you'll see this message, unless you've already got a license, just telling you that the evaluation license is being activated. So just click Start Trial, and then Excel will continue to load. Now the first thing we'll notice is that we've got this Pixel example tab in the ribbon. Now this tab is entirely customizable. We're not going to go into that in this video, but what I want to point out is we've got this About Pixel button. If we click that, it will show us some information about the Pixel add-in, including where it's installed, where the config file is, and where the log file is. So if you do have any problems, if Pixel isn't loading for whatever reason, then just know that it's creating a log file, and by default you'll see that in the folder that Pixel is installed in, there's a logs folder, and in here you can find the log file. So if you are getting any errors, then that's always the first place to look. So now Pixel is installed okay and seems to be working. We could load up the examples workbook and see what's going on in there, but I just want to show how we very quickly create an Excel function in Python. So in my Pixel folder here, this could be anywhere, I'm just going to create a new folder. Let's just call it source, and in here I'll create a new file and I'll call it pyfuncs.py. Don't forget to change the extension here from .txt if you're doing it this way. And then yes. And in this file here, I'm just going to edit it with Notepad. Obviously, you can use a Python editor or something else here. Now, in this pyfuncs.py file, I'm just going to create a simple Python function. Let's just call it pytest. Give it a couple of arguments, and I'll just return an f string here. So we'll say create an f string that says a equals a, b equals b. So just a very simple test function that we can call from Excel. Now to get this function into Excel, we need to use the Pixel XLFunc decorator. So we do that by saying from Pixel import XL_func, and then we apply this decorator to the function like this. So we say at XLFunc, just on the line above where the function's defined here. And this decorator is what Pixel uses to know that this function should be exposed to Excel as an Excel function. So if we save this file now, the next thing we need to do is to tell Pixel to load this Python module. And we do that by going into the config file here, this pixel.cfg file. And I'm going to open this with Notepad. Again, you could use a better editor than Notepad, but this is just showing you it's just a plain text file. The first thing we need to do is add our folder to the Python path. So the Python path is what is a list of folders that Python will search for Python modules on. So our source file was in this folder here. So we just copy and paste that into here, and then just make sure it's indented with the one above. And the other thing we need to do is add our module to the list of modules here. So all of these modules will get loaded by the Pixel add-in. These are just the example ones that come with it. So we need to add our PyFuncs module to this list as well so that Pixel will import it. So we add that here. You'll see I'm not adding the .py extension here, I'm just using the module name. So I'll save this and then close that. And now back in Excel, if I hit reload, this will reload the Pixel add-in and it will reload all of those Python modules that were listed in that config file. So here we go, that says everything's reloaded okay. Again, here if anything did go wrong, then it would tell you an error message, and then you could just look in the log file and that will tell you some more information about that. So now we should be able to call our function from Excel. It took a couple of different arguments, so let's give it just some test data here. And now we say equals PyTest, the name of our function as it was in Python, but now in Excel. We see it takes two inputs, A and B. And then when I enter this, we now get that string returned, which is the string that we specified in our Python function. What's cool about this is that if I now go and change these, as soon as I make the change, the Python function gets called again, and the output gets updated here in real time. So this is obviously just a very simple example, but you can see here how you can have much more complicated formulas, but written entirely in Python, where you can use them in exactly the same way as you'd use any other Excel function. The last thing I want to show is how to open a Jupyter notebook inside of Excel. To do that, we need to install another package called PyXLL-Jupyter, and if we go to back to the command line and we use pip install again, so we do pip install PyXLL-Jupyter, and this will install that package and anything else that's needed. Now, once that's installed, we now go and restart Excel. So I'll close this down now. I won't save that. Start it up again. And this time, in our Pixel example tab here, we've now got this Jupyter button. If we click this, it opens up this Jupyter notebook here. And I'm not going to go into any more detail here because there is another video and there's more details on the website about doing this, but just if you were wondering how to get the Jupyter notebook, then that's how you do it. You can find loads more details on pixel.com, and there's a blog article and a video there about how to use the Jupyter notebook in Excel. So I hope this video has helped you get started using Pixel. Once you've got it installed, you'll find that there are loads more resources on the pixel.com website. If you go into the documentation, you'll find there's a full user guide here, and there's also a section on more videos, so do have a look at those. If you run into any problems or if you need any help, then just get in touch and we'll help you out.